Appreciate everybody being here today. It's another week. Excited about being back at home. Excited. It's been fun to watch the crowd grow each week. The excitement of the student section. There's a lot of good things going on here. We got an awfully good opponent coming to Fifth Third Bank Stadium. We're very familiar with them as they are with us for playing them twice last year. Obviously, they won the first game. We were fortunate enough to win the second. They're a very, very talented football team. Offensively, most of the guys are back. The quarterback, if he's not the best player in FCS at that position, I'd like to see who is. And their skill kids are really, really dynamic, can catch, can run. A lot of the same guys from last year are back. And they got a lot of the guys back from defense as well. A few more guys they're replacing on defense from a year ago, but they got the player of the year on offense in their league and the player of the year on defense in their league, respectively. So it's a great challenge. I think for us, we got to go prepare. We got to really focus in on attention to detail and everything we need to do to get ourselves ready to go and see if we can put that game together that in all three phases of playing our brand and our standard of football. I think that's a challenge right now. And so it'll start today, like I always say, with Tough Tuesday, and we'll see if we can go out and have a good practice and then build on that each day this week. I'll open the floor for questions. Well, they're big up front. Like I said, their defensive end is it's a player of the year. We actually recruited him out of high school in our first class. He's a really, really good player. And they got some big guys inside. They got some new linebackers playing, but they're really good. We've recruited a couple of them, so we're very familiar with them. But they do a nice job. The coach, the defensive coordinator, does a great job. He's been around for a while. You know, they see the option probably 3 or 4 times a year on minimum in their league, between the Citadel and Wofford and Furman and all those teams run it. So they have a good plan. They know what they're trying to get done. And so it's going to be a challenge, just as it was the last 2 times we played them. I mean, it was, it's a challenge to go up and down the field, move the football, and get first down. So we're going to have to be ready to go. Well, I think it's been, I think at times you see improvement in areas. I think we've made some improvement in special teams since game 1. I think we've had a lot of new guys on defense that just getting out there and playing has helped tremendously for those guys to get the game experience. I think offensively, we can get a group out there collectively with some continuity, especially up front. I'm hoping for that this week. I think that'll help us as well. I think the thing that, that's been tough is we've made too many self-inflicted. We've beat ourselves in too, each week, whether it's turnovers or penalties or just things like that are. And I told our team on Monday, I said, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I said, I'm disappointed. I said, I don't care about the score. What I care about is our standard and how we play every week. And that's what I care about. I want to go out there and play our best football, And I said, if you want to be different, if you want to be special, if you want to be something that, I said, it can't be just the roller coaster ride. There's got to be some consistency about how we go about our business. And I think that's the biggest thing right now that we got to get better at. And I think they understand it, and I think they get it. Not going out and doing it on Tuesday and Wednesday when you see me wiping sweat off my brow just from walking in here. That's where it happens. You know what I mean? They want to do it. They understand it, but when adversity hits and it's not a lot of fun, is when we got to fight the good fight. And so the little things get niced up, so it doesn't turn into a big thing in a moment. And especially when you're playing people like this, you can't afford to.
Can you talk a little about Devlin Hodges? I mean, one of the things that stood out about him last year wasn't just the numbers, but his ability to improvise. You get a chance to, you've got to get him on the ground or get him off his spot.
Well, he can throw it, but he's really athletic, and he's exceptional at what he does. But when he gets outside the pocket, he's deadly. He does an unbelievable job, and his wideouts, of finding ways to get open and hit big plays when he scrambles out of the pocket. So he's a really, really good player. Like I said, their skill with him at the controls. I mean, they're a really potent offense. Just go turn on the Florida State game if you wonder about it. Just you got a minute, go find it, turn it on, and watch those guys run by Florida State's DBs like they aren't there, time after time after time. I mean, like I said, it's going to be a challenge. He's a heck of a player, and he's got a really good supporting cast to help him.
Between Ahmad Gooden and Horace Roberts and the others that you mentioned, is this as good a defensive front as you'll face all year?
They're definitely as good as we've probably seen to date. That's for sure. We played against Ahmad last year twice, and they had another kid that's playing in the NFL right now, and then the linebacker they had's playing in the NFL right now. So they've had some players, and especially at that defensive end position, they've been really, really good. Ahmad Gooden, you go back and look. I mean, shoot, we had a pitch play in the first game. Kid went about 50 yards, and he ran him down about the 4-yard line from the backside end position. I mean, they got some really talented players. Ahmad is the lead of that. There's no question.
Offensively, you kind of touched on the turnovers that you've been committing so far in the season. Have you felt most of them been self-inflicted, or do you feel that? I mean, what have you been seeing with the offense, and how do you go about improving that?
Well, we work on it every day. It's emphasized. I mean, Saturday, it just you have to look the pitch in. Attention to detail, focus on your assignment, and then the other turnover was on a special teams play, where we got to have a little more awareness of where we are on the field, and those were the two then. And then we've had some on some mesh stuff before then, which is really just being decisive, being strong with your hands, stuff we work on every day. And you just gotta have that attention, detail, and focus and practice, and then hopefully it carries over in the game.
You mentioned that this team, even though they have the greatest record, they've been close in a lot of games. How do you try to prepare your squad, even though you've had some great victories these last 3 games, to understand that this team can come in and possibly get a victory?
Well, if our kids don't understand that, we'll get beat on Saturday. I mean, if you turn the tape on and you don't get what you're getting ready to deal with, then we got problems. I'm going to be honest with you. We got problems. I mean, this is a playoff team, the preseason favorite to win their league. Truthfully, the Florida State games probably cost them 1 or 2 more, if you want to know the truth. And this is going to be their rallying point Saturday night at 6 o'clock. Everything can get right, beating a ranked team at their place, and they can kind of straighten things up and get on the right track. So, if our kids don't understand that, we're going to be struggling.
Those punt plays, kick plays like that, especially a punt play, is it the specific responsibility of certain guys around the guy that's going to signal fair catch, field the punt, whatever it is, to either yell, get away from it, get away? Is there a specific responsibility for that?
Well, I think there's twofold. You got to have some awareness of where you are on the field, and I think there's a communication piece with the returner, especially in a fair catch situation. He can help that with some communication. So I think it's a twofold thing. It's a very teachable moment. You hate when it happens, but sometimes you have to have that drastic of a consequence to really have the teachable moment that you want to have. So I think it's twofold. I think it's both ends. I think awareness of where you are on the field, where the returner is, and then there also can be some communication from the returner, especially in a fair catch situation. So probably both ends. Health? Well, I think we'll get some guys back this week. There's a bug running around right now that's got a bunch of them, and it's really been the last week or so. So we're battling that a little bit. We're hopeful to get – we feel confident C.J. Collins will be back. We feel confident Bronson will be back. We feel like Sincere will be back. Hopefully Sumter will be back. And that's all based on the course of the week as well. But we feel like, we're starting to get some guys back to where we can get everybody out there. But this first, 4 or 5 weeks is just kind of it kind of is what it is. You just, next man up, and you got to make it work. But hopefully we're going to get a collective group back this week. But we'll have to see how this week in practice goes. There's some guys out there that got to be tested in practice before they can play on Saturday that haven't played. So we'll have to see how they respond to that.
I know you were touching on Stanford, how they have a lot of players returning from last year's team. But schematically, do you see a lot of similar things in the way they run their offense right now in defense when you played them 2 times last year?
Yeah, they've, defensively, they're going to do what they do. They're going to have their tweaks, and they have a very good option plan. And like I said, they play 3 or 4 usually option opponents of some shape, form, or fashion a year. Guy's done a good job over the years of adjusting. He knows what he's doing. So they'll have that plan. And then they do a lot offensively. I mean, a lot of combinations, a lot of routes, a lot of different stuff. I mean, they do a lot of really good stuff and a lot of different looks. And honestly, you can't cover everything. You got to go be sound in what you do. And sometimes you just got to get them on the ground and live for the next play. Try to keep them in front of you, prevent big plays, because you're not going to defend everything. They do a good job at what they do. I mean, so we just got to be sound in what we're doing.
Between this game and conference play, you're less likely to go anywhere near as far into your bench anyway. Are there a handful of guys you would, bearing in mind the new redshirt rule, that you would specifically prefer to keep under that umbrella where you keep their redshirt year?
Well, there's only really a couple guys right now that we've really said we're going to play. Tyler Moore on defense, Desmond Scott on defense. Those two, and probably Chance Bates, are probably the 3 that we're probably going to play, and then probably the other one on offense, just depending on how the year unfolds, is Matt Olson. He's had to play and probably will have to play. Preferably, if I can manage it, I'd like to keep everybody else under that 4-game deal so that we can build this thing out right, which is what we've tried to do every year here. And so, but we'll see. I mean, every week's a new week, and and it's you're trying to go win a game. As you say, Brian, we're trying to go 1-0, and that's it, and that's all we're worried about. We're not planning for next week. We're not planning for I think me as a head coach, in my mind, I do have to look at the big picture. But at the end of the day, we're trying to win a game, and really that's it. And then you deal with the next one after that one. And that's the only way I know to approach it. Now, I do think the nature of my chair, I do have to look at the big picture of where we are and what we need to do. But at the end of the day, we're trying to go beat Sanford.
You said that. How has this home stretch helped those younger guys playing at home and getting acclimated to playing against teams? I mean, that's a big thing for them. Instead of starting off 3 games, 4 games in a row,
Yeah.
being able to play at home, how has that helped those younger guys?
Well, we played a couple on the road to start with, and I think anytime you come into, in friendly confines, it makes it a little more comfortable. So I think it's been good. I think it's been positive. We've had a really good atmosphere. It was tough having a rain delay in that first game. It kind of threw everybody off a little bit. But I think it's been good for those guys. I think it's good. Any game rep you can get is going to be positive. So I think it's been positive and it's helped those guys, and hopefully they can build on that.